Over the next 5 weeks, we're taking a hard look at the issues most important to our morning audience in this election campaign. And this week, we're looking at what's driving families and young people to cast their votes on October 21st. Canadians between 18 and 38 make up the biggest group of eligible voters, a potentially powerful group that could change the political landscape. We start our focus on families with 3 university students. I want to welcome Emma Young-Buchalter, Kamau, Simba, and Maski. Thank you, all 3 of you, for being here. Now, I gotta be honest. I like to play up the fact that I'm an old man on this show, and I like to rail against the young people. But the fact is, there are some issues that are very important and very specific to your cohort. So let's jump right in. Young voter turnout has been declining since the 1970s until the 2015 election, when that all changed. 57% of voters between 18 and 24 cast a ballot. That was up from 39% in 2011. And that's the biggest increase that Elections Canada has ever recorded. So you guys are in that demographic. What's motivating you to vote next month?
I think the main thing is, like you said, that the voter demographic is increasing. So I want to keep that momentum going, and I want to be a part of that demographic, and I want to use my voice in this election to bring light to some of the issues that matter to me. Over the past year, when the provincial election happened, a lot of students were upset about the recent OSAP cuts, but a lot of young people actually didn't vote. So in this election, I want to use my voice to bring positive change to the environment, education, and social issues.
Well, what about you?
She was pretty much spot on with that. I feel as if it's important to push for change, right? And we have to use the resources that we have available to us to do so. And since we have the opportunity to vote, we might as well go and push for that and see what can happen.
Adam, what's motivating you?
I share a lot of the same sentiments as my fellow interviewees, and I think that a lot of young voters aren't voting, and I think it's really important that we're going out there and we're making our voices heard, because we do represent such a big demographic. And so I'm really motivated to vote for a candidate that shares the same political beliefs that I do and reflects the same values that I believe in. Okay, well, every one of you at some point is going to be out of school. You might get married. You might want a family. You might need a house. And if you need a house, it's getting harder and harder to achieve that dream. A recent report by a nonprofit group for young Canadians says it could take up to 29 years to save enough to buy a house in one of Canada's big cities. Now, I want to let you know, here's where some of the parties are where all the parties are standing on housing. Last week, the Liberals announced they would expand the first-time home buyers incentive and add a tax on foreign ownership. The NDP are promising 500,000 more affordable housing units. They also say they'll reintroduce the 30-year mortgage for the first time, double the first-time home buyers tax credit. We're still waiting for the Conservatives' platform on this front, but in 2015, they promised to rework mortgage qualifications. And the Green Party says it will invest in a national housing strategy. So does any of this speak to you guys? Or does any of that matter to you?
I would say it's huge that the parties are all acknowledging this, that buying a home in today's housing market is a challenge for young people today, and it's great that they're coming up with solutions for it. I think adding incentives for first-time homebuyers, such as tax credits, would be great, but also adding more affordable housing.
Come on.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Are you paying attention to the party platforms as it relates to housing?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. So I did notice about the NDP. They were doing something about 500,000 new affordable housing units, and I'm going to be looking into that, looking forward to seeing what.
Adam?
Yeah, I share a lot of the same sentiments as well. I think it's really important that we have more affordable housing. It's not easy to live in Toronto. It's not easy to live in the GTA, so I think it's better to have more affordable housing for people in our generation. And also, I think the Green Party is offering something about seniors living with younger people, and that's a really cool idea, and I think that if it were implemented properly, it would be really beneficial.
Well, nobody can afford a house if they're saddled with debt. And students have a lot of it when they come out of school. The average Canadian university graduate finishes with more than $26,000 of debt. None of the parties have made any specific promises yet in this campaign, but in 2015, the Liberals promised more student grants through increasing income thresholds and some loan forgiveness. The Conservatives pledged Canada student loan recipients could earn more employment income while attending post-secondary school and to expand eligibility of grants. In the last election, the NDP promised to cap tuition fees with the eventual goal of free post-secondary education. They also promised to ban unpaid internships. And in 2015, the Green Party promised to abolish tuition and adopt student debt cancellation programs. What do you want to hear this time around from these leaders? Because you're going to be leaving school, and I'm sure you all have a certain amount of debt already. So what do you want to hear from these guys?
I think over the past year, OSEP cuts have obviously been in a lot of headlines. And prior to this year, the old policies worked quite well for myself and a lot of my friends who are students. So I think even just increasing the grants to what we had before this year and bringing back the interest-free, grace-free period after we're done university would really reduce a lot of stress among students.
Kamau, are you feeling stress as a student?
Absolutely, all the time, all the time. It's something I think about every day.
What would help relieve that stress?
Honestly, the loan forgiveness, that really seems as if it's a very beneficial thing. And also more grants. That'd be very helpful. Because as a commuter, just like 80% of the rest of commuters at Ryerson, we're tight with money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't really have much freedom at all. And it kind of sucks. It's kind of sad that, you know, we get out of school, we have to focus on looking for a job as well as paying off our student debts. It's very difficult.
Adam, is it a situation where, as a student, like every bit helps? So any type of grant that you can get your hands on could help in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really beneficial to have grants. I think the ideal goal is to have free education for people in post-secondary education. I'm not sure how feasible it is right now, but in the meantime, I think lower tuition and more grants is definitely the way we should be going, because I think someone's family's income shouldn't be putting them in disadvantage for the education they should be getting. I think education should be right for everyone.
So we only have 1 minute left, but look, you have a national platform right now. What do you want to tell these party leaders as they get ready to give us the next 5 weeks of campaigning?
I think really just keeping in mind the issues that are facing youth, as some of these issues are a bit unique and maybe different to what they themselves are experiencing and what they experienced in their past. So just keeping in mind what it looks like today.
Come out, 10 seconds, go.
Okay, we're the future, and we need to be set up accordingly, right? We need to be we need to be put out there.
We need to be supported.
Yeah, we need to be supported. Absolutely, absolutely.
Last word to you, sir.
Listen to the youth. Listen to what we're saying. You know, really help us out. Try and help the future generations. Don't worry about now. Worry about the future and plan accordingly.
Emma, Kamau, and Adam, thank you so much for your insights into the youth culture. and we didn't talk avocado toast once. Hey, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.